primary list and a secondary list. And we were able to come up with 271 surveys. We found that the low to moderate income level in Lubec is right around 65.68%. They still have some surveys that haven't counted. They left some envelopes on people's doors, so they're expected to have some mailed in. But that number is way above what the American Community Surveys indicated. Pete Resema from the Sunrise County Economic Council and I talked. He has been in contact with the Office of Community Development, and right now he is saying the indication that he has is that we should have enough. They're now working with on the state level to make sure the state's going to recognize the results of the survey, and he has no indication that there's going to be any question. And like I told Pete, I mean, even if every one of the surveys that we're short is above the low to moderate income, I mean, we are still above the number.
It would boost it up higher.
Well, no, I mean, if everyone was higher, then the low to moderate income number would be lower, but at 65%, that's almost 2/3
Oh,
of the
no,
people.
but I thought you meant it's all the rest
Yeah.
of them
Yeah.
were low.
Yeah.
Still boosted up higher.
Right, but
In
I mean,
other
if
words-
everyone came up in higher,
It still qualifies,
we
what
would
you're
still
saying.
qualify.
Very good, well, thank you for all that, it must have been hard work to do that in the winter.
Yeah, we had a number of volunteers, and it couldn't have been done without the volunteers. We had staff
I'd like to
people on
thank
board.
all the volunteers for coming and helping,
Yes.
and everyone in the office that compiled all the information. It was really very helpful.
Yeah.
What about the brownfield?
I had a conversation this week with Todd Coffin. He is with MEC Foster Wheeler. He is they're the engineering firm. He's bringing up a gentleman named Sam Copeland. Sam is a landscape architect, and he's going to be in Lubec January 6th. What he's going to be doing is taking a look at the existing landscape. How is this going to fit in with what we're looking to do? We're taking down the Columbian factory site, moving the Historical Society out of the hole, and putting in the turnout. Todd informed me also that Sam is going to be working with him, and they're also reaching out to Jim Byer from Maine DEP. They're beginning the permit process because this is right on the shoreline, and it does involve contaminants. The DEP is very interested in the project, so they are going to begin the permit phase. And a lot of what Sam's work is going to help Todd establish the boundaries, establish where the land ends and where the water begins, and how everything's going to be affected by the project. This is going to be important in the permit process.
Very good. Hopefully you can see enough, and there's not too much snow.
Right?
What is making you a living community tonight?
Yeah, we talked about that. We are looking at becoming a member of the Maine Downtown Network.
Oh, okay, right, sure.
One of the steps is a program called Making Headway in Our Community. What it is, they will have a public meeting. The public's going to be encouraged to attend. They're going to show a movie about a community that had an issue. I believe it involved a mill, and how the community come together to resolve the issue and make it an asset in the community. And then they're going to talk to the people at the hearing, or at the meeting, and they're going to ask us to identify a goal, something that would benefit our community. They do have some
Do we have a
funding.
date for this?
I'm hoping to reach out and get a phone call with them next week to set it up for sometime in January.
Or where would it be held?
I would say right here would be. We would advertise it ahead of time.
And we can do a movie here?
I think we can.
Okay.
But yeah, we would be able to talk to the people at the meeting, discuss and identify a common goal. And like I said, they've got some funding to help us move forward with the goal. And then they would encourage us to seek funding from other sources. And it would be something that we would identify in the community, and then how would we resolve it?
So, do we have any ideas?
I think that would come from, I mean, I've had some thoughts, with the downtown area, what could we do with it? Had some thoughts, with some of the parks, what could we do? But I mean, I think this would be something that the ideas could be presented at the meeting, and let the community, they might come up with 5 or 6, and then try to narrow it down to one that we could present as our project. And then we would have to identify a way, how would we identify success?
But is it a piece of property, or it can be anything? So
It
they're
can be
gonna give us an example in the movie?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that'll be good.
I mean, one of the goals of the main downtown network is really getting the community involved. I mean, it's not just the select board, you got all the organizations in town, whether it's Economic Development Committee, we got the people with the flowers, I mean, there's a lot of.
The garden club,
The garden club.
LCOC.
Right.
Okay, so are you gonna reach out to the different groups to make sure somebody comes from each group? Because that is part of it.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do
Remember,
is,
that's part of it.
when we identify a time for this movie, then we'll advertise it in the paper, we'll advertise it, the way we advertise, get out on Facebook and try to get the word out.
Very good. All right then, next on the agenda is appointing Suzette Francis to, I believe it's Deputy
Deputy
Treasurer, Deputy Overseer,
Tax collector.
full Tax Collector, and
Deputy
Overseer of the
Overseer.
Floor.
Yes.
That had been taken up by John, but I think now she's gotten her feet wet with a clerk, and she's willing to take that position on and back up our new treasurer, Christian. So do I have a motion
Make a motion
to,
to appoint.
We had the emotion at the last selectmen's
Oh, we
meeting,
did?
so we.
Oh, we did?
sign. Yes.
Oh.
So,
There you
yeah,
go.
we just need to sign the paper. We gotta have a motion to sign.
Just don't lose yourself.
yes, don't lose yourself, you might be getting old, Dan.
Oh, I'm there.
Do we have a motion to sign?
I guess
Yes.
so.
Motion to
Yes.
sign.
Wasn't that what I was trying to get?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said we already did it, so that's
Oh,
what
we
I started
appointed,
signing.
now we need to sign.
Oh,
Do we
okay.
have a second?
Second, I
Well,
already
we-
second.
Okay, sorry. I thought if we appointed them, that meant we could sign. I didn't know there was a motion to appoint, and then another one to sign.
Well,
Whatever.
we kinda didn't have the paper at the last meeting.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to recuse myself from this next one.
We had a harbor board meeting, and one of the concerns with our harbor master, Julie Keene, is she's got certain times of the year when her fishing will not allow her to be available. And she also has a concern about not always being around. And we talked about having a deputy harbor master. Initially, we discussed it with Stephen Tinker, who was our harbor master, but then his schedule doesn't allow him to be around in the summertime. But in the wintertime, he's around and he's a great asset. So the question became, what could we do? Ralph Dennison has talked about being a deputy harbor master, and he's available in the summertime. So the harbor board discussed asking the select board to appoint both Stephen and Ralph as deputy harbor masters.
I think that's a great idea, and I would
That
like
gives
to
us a
make
couple
that
pair of
motion.
eyes.
Make that a motion.
I will second that motion.
And you can add, John, that was a unanimous decision of the harbor board.
Yes.
So we're all in
I
favor.
like when that happens.
Carol abstains.
So we have about 3-0 and 1.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure he would have done more work.
I think they're both great assets. I know when Steve's around, I rely on him, whether it's for information, what's going on. He does a lot of work around the hoist crane, and I know he does a lot of work for fishermen. In the summertime, I use Ralph as an asset, because he's always around, and he's got a lot of information.
So hopefully that'll relieve Julie of some of her time.
Yeah.
She's very busy with her shellfish, as the shellfish warden. It's quite time consuming.
And, she had a concern that, she may not be able to give the harbor master all the time that the position requires to be there. So by giving her a couple of deputies to help out, people that usually work around the harbor area anyways, hopefully we can release some stress.
She did ask that she wanted to be the final say on any mooring application,
Yes, she's
I
still a
know.
harbor master.
so.
And we were
Well,
also, focus in that meeting was also of preparing that mooring field and that, to get that done.
that's a lot of
Yeah.
I
work,
believe
that's a
that's-
big-
That's
that's a
for our
big
next
thing.
meeting.
mapping the mooring
We're
field
gonna be working on
and,
that.
and going over the harbor ordinance,
Harbor ordinance.
which is a
Everybody-
big project.
Everybody left that meeting with homework to do over the holidays.
There you go.
Oh, yes, we're doing the grant. Okay, did you guys get a chance to look at the Hollingsworth audit, because?
Yeah.
So we just wanted to make sure that went on record that we had looked at the audit and it came out fine.
I had a
and-
chance to sit down with Randy Campbell before he left.
Mhm.
He had a chance to talk with Hollingsworth. Randy said he didn't find any issues. I looked through it. I didn't find any issues. Christian said, you know, as far as he was concerned, it was a good audit.
I spoke to Mr. Hollingsworth himself, and I asked whether or not he suggested that we go ahead and have a second audit for the ending of Randy and the beginning of Christian, and he said that it was really up to the outgoing treasurer to feel if they felt that they didn't want to put the whole thing together with, but he felt so comfortable with the new treasurer that it was fine, and
Yeah,
they
Randy.
didn't say- it wasn't a requirement, so we're just gonna, it would have been another cost to the taxpayer. So we're just going to, you know, do our annual audit.
I talked to Randy Campbell and he said he was comfortable with Christian and it was his recommendation that we don't do the second audit. This audit here cost us $6,500, so that was an unbudgeted expense.
So thank you for that.
Yep.
Maine municipal training, yes, this has been something that we've been trying to find a training. When we first all got, when Dan and Fred and Heather and myself, we all got right into that training